What's going on, y'all? Bulletproof Lambo back with another video, the biggest and the baddest fight channel on YouTube, your one-stop shop for everything fighting and fitness. And today we talking Ilia Topuria, the midget man, soon to be Duck if he does not fight Arman Tsarukyan. That's the only thing the people want to see. We got an interview from him, and we got a little bit of analysis, another video talking about who deserves the next title shot. Is it Paddy Pimblett? I think it was Paddy Pimblett, but it's not anymore. It's Arman Tsarukyan. But the real question is, Ilia Topuria truly ducking Arman Tsarukyan? We about to find out.
Pick 'em up, take 'em to the moon, to the fucking thing. I'm riding through New York, bang, finna go and shoot New Jersey up, bang, tryna take my chain, I ain't going. We gon' come and blow New Jersey up, bang. You want something? Hurry up, try to rob, bitch, we 30'd up, just like volcanoes, bitch, I'm curried up. Cheese in my pockets, velvet up. Hey, I'm a gorilla.
Make sure y'all get y'all dumbbells, man. We're not just watching content, we improving at the same time, right? Now let's get straight into this reaction video, man. We got Ilia Topuria. What you got to say about all this, Ilia? You know, you got people in the business claiming you ducking Arman. How you feeling, brother? The people want to know.
Yo, mira, pues tengo a Paddy en la mente. Me gustaría pelear con Paddy si es que no me...
Okay, he says, I like to fight Paddy Pimblett, right? And this was in response to the man asking him, who do you want to fight next, right? So I have Paddy on my mind.
Yo, mira, pues tengo a Paddy en la mente. Me gustaría pelear con Paddy.
But then he says, I'd like to fight Paddy if they don't let me move up to welterweight to fight Islam. Now, after last week's performance by Arman Tsarukyan at UFC Qatar against Dan Hooker, it was a terrific performance, dominant. Barely took a clean punch. Why would you come out and say something like this when you know the people are looking for that Arman fight? Right?
Si es que no me dejan subir en peso welter para pelear con Islam, porque el combate que realmente me gustaría tener es en contra de Islam.
Because the fight that I'd really like is Islam in the third weight class. Now, I respect Ilia Topuria for wanting to achieve greatness. You can't knock the man for that. Any man that's in his position, that has the option, right, and that feels like they're capable enough to move up to a third weight class, by all means, do it. I'm not knocking him for that. Only problem that I have is, bro, you have not put in enough work for that, bro. You have not. There's been talks of Alex Pereira wanting to move up to a third weight class and conquer a third belt. Do you feel like you've done more than Alex Pereira, who has knocked out everyone in the top 5 of the light heavyweight division? Started off at middleweight, right? He was cracking stuff over there. Beat Adesanya. Then he moves up. He beat Yuri. Now he just conquered Ankalaev. He beat Jamal Hill. Right? Everybody in that division that has a name, Khalil Rountree, he stomped them out. You moving up to your second weight class and only beating the champion is not enough. The UFC, I highly doubt are going to go for that, bro. I highly doubt they're going to go for that, especially when you have contenders waiting in the wings. And this is the reason why I've been hearing rumors from different sources that the UFC behind the scenes is working on an interim title between Paddy and Justin Gaethje, because you're holding up the division. Now we got to go back to this interim title BS. What are we doing? Does this man realize if you move up to welterweight, you are not defending, you are not going to take the belt and just defend against, you're not going to just, you're not going to take the belt and then go back down to 155 and have your belt to defend. That era is over with, bro. The double champ, the triple champ status is over with, bro. If you move up to welterweight, Ilia Topuria, you are going to have to stay there, win or lose. You're going to have to defend your belt against Morales. Do you really want to do that? You're going to have to defend your belt and rematch Islam. You're going to have to defend your belt against Ian Gary. You're going to have to defend your belt against Bilal. You're going to have to defend your belt against Kamaru Usman. You're going to have to, we've already seen you spar Kamaru Usman. It was not a good day at work for you. So what are we talking about? This whole champ status thing. He's trying to take a champ status, which is cool. But bro, put in the work for that. It's dumbbell time, man. Like I said, we ain't just watching content. We're getting better at the same time. Come on. What you think this is? We're getting better at the same time. Girls for the girls, baby. Girls for the girls. But anyways, as I was saying, this whole triple champ status, it's goated. I'm not going to lie to you. It's goated. It truly is. If you can attempt a double champ status, let alone a triple champ status, I mean, by all means, go for it, bro. But let's look at Topuria's resume. Who has he fought, bro? And I'm not saying that to be condescending at all. I'm genuinely asking, who has Ilia Topuria fought? Let's go down the roster, right? When he first entered the top 15 of the featherweight division, how did he get there? By fighting Bryce Mitchell. Okay, that's a solid win. It's not otherworldly or anything by any means. Well, let's look to the future, right? Who did he fight next? Who did he fight next? Josh Emmett. Josh freaking Emmett. Right? He got a powerful right hand. That's it. Then you get a title shot. You don't get a title shot against a healthy Volk. You don't get a title shot against Max Holloway Volk. You get a title shot against, I just got knocked out Volk. Against shin kick to the freaking forehead Volk. Pinned up against the octagon wall, taking punches Volk, going out cold Volk. You got a title shot against Podcast Volk, where he talks about, oh yeah, I was hallucinating, and I was getting angry with my wife. It just was a bad time. I was concussed. 6 months, not even 6 months. I think it was 3 months removed. 3 months removed from getting knocked out by Islam Makhachev. You fought Volk. Come on now, brother. But I'm gonna let that slide. That was your title fight. You won the title. Good for you. Then who did you fight? You fought a weight drain Max Holloway, who's come out and said, I cannot make 145 anymore. He had already fought for a title, the BMF title against Justin Gaethje at 155. You made him cut weight, come back down to 145, where you beat him. All these fighters that you're fighting, not saying they're washed, but they were not in the best condition, bro. You defended, you got your first and only title defense at 145. Then you moved up to fight for the 155 title, not against the champion, but against a guy in Charles Oliveira who just lost to Arman Tsarukyan. Convincingly. Right? A guy who's been knocked out, I'm not going to lie, a few times the past couple years. Or the past several years. A guy who's been dropped in every fight for the past couple years. It could have been done way better than this, bro. It could have been done way better than this. And you have to fight who they're giving you. I get and I understand that, bro. But that's why I say he needs to do more. Physique check. Come on, bro. What are we doing? What are we doing? I'm going to be dropping a course for y'all soon so y'all can get right. But anyways, back to what I was saying. He needs to do more. There are champions who have done more. There are champions with more defenses. Ilia Topuria fights for a belt, moves up. fights for that belt, defends his belt one time, then moves up. So what are we going to do with Ilia Topuria at this point? Every time he wins a title, he wants to move up. No defenses. He just leaves all the contenders waiting in the wings, all the contenders we want to see him fight, and he just wants to move up. The UFC is not having it. That's why they're working on an interim title fight behind the scenes. This man is talking about because the fight I'd really like is against Islam in the third weight class. We know that's what you want, Ilia. But the problem is that the body of work doesn't add up to that, bro. You got Arman Tsarukyan waiting in the wings. You got Paddy Pimblett waiting in the wings. And more importantly than that, Arman Tsarukyan has been on a tear. The guy that you won the lightweight title off of or against in Charles do Bronx Oliveira, bro, he fought him and won convincingly. That's a tremendous fight. The people want to see this fight and how it would play out. You look like a duck, bro. You come out of the press conference, you come out of the UFC Qatar fight week. It wasn't even your fight week. And you immediately start taking shots at Ilia Topuria. And you, Ilia Topuria, immediately start taking shots at Arman Tsarukyan. When you were there backstage at the face-offs, when you were there for the fight week, so why, if you didn't have plans of fighting him, why even come out with coverage claiming that you smacked him, even though you didn't smack him? Why even come out and say anything about him if you don't have intentions of fighting him, bro? I don't get it. It's like you're playing in the fan's face. You're playing in the fan's face. And it's weird, bro. It's weird. This obsession that you have with fighting Islam Makhachev is weird, bro. You're not gonna beat Islam Makhachev, bro. Especially at 170. And then when you go up to 170, what are you gonna do? Lose to Islam Makhachev, then come back down and say, "Hey, I want a title fight." It's just weird. Because you're not gonna beat Islam, bro. I'm gonna keep it a buck with you. You're either gonna lose and have to stay at 170, where you're gonna get cracked, or, which 90% is going to happen, you're going to lose, and you're going to have to move back down to 155, where there's going to be a new champion in either Arman Tsarukyan or Paddy Pimblett, and you're going to have to fight one of them. If you lose that, then you're just a contender all over again. So what are we talking about? What is Ilia Topuria's real plan? Your plan cannot be, I just want to duck and dodge Arman Tsarukyan, even though he's more deserving than anybody else in the division. He was my backup. He was your backup fighter for your fight against Charles do Bronx. He deserves a title shot, bro. If you beat Arman Tsarukyan, I think it's that. Okay, cool. That's enough for you to move up. You beat Charles do Bronx, beat Arman Tsarukyan. Nobody wants to see the Paddy Pimblett fight, bro. The UFC is telling you, you have to fight Arman Tsarukyan, and he is literally saying, no, this is duck, bro. This is duck activity, bro. You are ducking him, bro. You're avoiding him, bro. You don't want nothing to do with Arman Tsarukyan. Now we got another clip. We got another clip on the Area Hawani podcast, where they're basically reiterating, this same exact thing.
Fantastic Four First Steps is now streaming on Disney.
And I think Ilia Topuria, I think what he's doing is he's trying to find the easiest route towards a welterweight title. He's trying to find, Ilia Topuria is trying to find the easiest route towards that third belt. And I don't knock him. But the reason why that doesn't make any sense is because when you play the heel, when you go around picking fights with contenders, you cannot then turn around and say, I don't want to fight that exact contender that I'm picking a fight with. That's not how the heel role works. If you're playing the heel, if you're playing, he's sort of, Ilia Topuria has built himself towards, sort of this antagonist through the whole build-up with Volk, through the whole build-up with Max Holloway. He comes at fighters with his words. When you are the heel, you can no longer discriminate. You can no longer make claims to who you want to fight, because it's not about you anymore. You ran your mouth. Now the fans want to see you fight certain people because you ran your mouth. If you wanted this life or this fight career where you can just wake up at any point and call out whoever you want. You shouldn't have taken that role, bro. You shouldn't be picking fights with fighters and then turning around and saying, hey, by the way, I don't want to fight you. I'd rather fight this guy that I think is easier, and then just go on about my way and try to get a third belt. That's not how this works, bro. If you're gonna if you're gonna talk the talk, you have to at least attempt to walk the walk. If he comes out and he says, yeah, I wouldn't mind fighting Arman Tsarukyan, but then the Paddy Pimblett fight gets made, that's one thing. But he is literally coming out completely dodging and avoiding any Arman Tsarukyan talks, right? But then through Twitter, he's saying, oh yeah, I'll fight anybody that the UFC gives me. I'll do that. I will do. The people want to hear. This man is Arman Tsarukyan is calling you out your name. This is the same thing that we talked about with the Ian Gary situation, how he's ducking and avoiding Michael Morales. Michael Morales and Arman Tsarukyan are calling both of y'all out of your name, Ian Gary and Ilia Topuria. Y'all need to make a stand. As a champion, you need to make a stand. Don't come out talking all this mess, then just expect the fans to forget that you talk all this mess, you talk all this crap, and just let you go about your merry way and go for a title shot. That's not how this works, bro. If you're going to talk the talk, walk the walk, bro. Especially you, Ilia Topuria, because you and Arman Tsarukyan have history. You and Paddy Pimblett have history too, but Paddy is not. It's not as compelling as a fight. I'm just being honest. I'm just being honest, bro. It's not as compelling of a fight. The people don't want to see you fight that fight as much as they want to see Arman Tsarukyan, bro. Let's see what they got to say.
Okay, so guys, I have to say, mea culpa.
Oh,
bring your dumbbells out, man.
So for all the haters out there, I'm walking one back.
Tell us.
We did the post show on Saturday.
You ain't just watching content.
Said, all right, first
getting better.
Paramount Plus. It's less than 2 months away now. Well, it's actually 2 months from today, believe it or not. January 24th, 2026. Las Vegas, T-Mobile. That's the rumor. They haven't announced anything yet, so they could throw us a curveball, right? Just like this thing, they could throw it just like this. Flick of the wrist.
We ain't just watching content, man. We ain't just watching content. We getting better at the same time. This ain't no. We ain't just watching content. We getting better at the same time. This ain't no MMA guru type channel. You know, if you just here to watch content, watching us, watching how we get down here on the Bulletproof Express. Well, we gonna change your life. This ain't no MMA guru. This ain't no MMA Joey. We stand with it. We getting active.
I said, you've got Ilia. He hasn't fought since June. You've got Paddy. He hasn't fought since April. There's the history there. There's the beef. Like, that is the perfect fight to start this thing. Put that on Paramount Plus. Watch the subs just skyrocket, right? After doing some now, and I said multiple times, I said, please, I want to be very clear. I am not saying that Paddy deserves this more than Arman, but I'm just saying because he hasn't fought, because Ilia hasn't fought, and I suspect they want to get into a training camp. If they haven't even started one already, I suspect they're going to want to announce this, get rolling with the promotion. There's a lot of history there, and you have Arman sit in the front row, and you say he is next. Like, let's get some decorum here. Let's start figuring out who's next. What's the pecking order? People misunderstood what I was trying to say. There's like, what? You're saying Paddy above Arman? No, I'm not saying. But if you watch fighting for more than 6 months, you understand that a lot of this is based on timing, not always on merit. Number one contender is without a doubt, without question, Arman Tsarukyan, but timing. Come to find out, it sounds, at least as of now, and I'm not reporting this as definitively, but it sounds, at least as of now, that fight isn't scheduled, believe it or not, for the January PLE, if you will. Still not sure what to call it. Are we calling it pay-per-view still? What are we calling these?
Numbered event.
I don't feel like it rolls off the tongue.
And that's what it's called.
It sounds like that's not the plan. What I'm hearing, the plan is front runner, Kayla versus Amanda. Now, could they do both? Sure, of course. Why not? But I'm not hearing that that's a part of the mix.
And bro, how disappointing. And I'm just talking to the people in the Fightverse, right? I'm just talking to the fans at this point. How disappointing would that be? And I'm not taking nothing away from Kayla Harrison or Amanda Nunes. That's the GOAT of the women's division. That would be a great main card for the Paramount opener. But bro, we have been talking about this fight for the longest time now, bro. Not just Ilia Topuria fighting Arman Tsarukyan. We've been talking about Arman Tsarukyan fighting for a title for the longest time. It is my belief that they should have rebooked Arman Tsarukyan to fight for the 155 title as soon as possible. Because Islam Makhachev did not. He took no damage when he fought Moicano. He took no damage. They should have rebooked that fight immediately. How disappointing, and I'm asking you guys as a fan base, how disappointing would it be to go from Ilia Topuria versus Arman Tsarukyan to Kayla Harrison versus Amanda Nunes? We don't want to see that fight as a main event, bro. That's a co-main opener. I'm sorry, bro, but it just is. We want to see Arman Tsarukyan versus Ilia Topuria. And if it's not Arman Tsarukyan versus Ilia Topuria, it's Ilia Topuria versus Paddy Pimblett coming in at a close second. But the reason why this has happened is because of none other than Ilia Topuria, the midget man. He does not want to fight anybody but Islam Makhachev. He had in his brain, let me tell y'all what he's thinking at this point. In his brain, he's thinking to himself, I got to get the third belt. I got to get the third belt. I got to get the third belt. But he doesn't want to put in the work to do so. If he falls off the face of the earth, if he loses all his fights after winning a third belt, do you really think he's going to care? No, because he'll be the first one in history to do so. UFC, do not let this happen. This if Ilia Topuria moves up and actually gets a fight versus Islam Makhachev for that third belt, it's y'all's fault. If he holds up divisions, it's y'all's fault. And I'm telling you, it's going to do way more repercussions than you think. Because now you have a fighter that you just let walk straight up the escalator to get a third belt without having to earn it. This is crazy. This is crazy. He doesn't have to defend his title. He doesn't have to make any sort of, he doesn't have to make any sort of, we don't have to make, y'all, bro, we know the fans don't get to see any fights that they want in probably the number 2 most star-studded division right now, which is the lightweight division, right behind the welterweight division. You guys are just gonna let him walk up that escalator and go get exactly what he wants without proving it? Are you kidding me? So him fighting Charles Oliveira, coming off of a loss to the same guy that we want to see him fight now, it's not a compelling fight for you guys. It's not a compelling fight for you guys. How about you guys, the UFC, come out and you expose Ilia Topuria for the duck that he's being? This is ridiculous. You guys, we all got on John Jones for not fighting Tom Aspinall. It's time to get on Ilia Topuria for not fighting Arman Tsarukyan. This is ridiculous. Ilia Topuria is no GOAT. He's not a GOAT, and he's making an attempt to call shots as if he is. And the reason why I say that this is going to cause so much further repercussions than anybody could imagine, because imagine what happens next year. Imagine what happens the next year after that. Imagine what happens to the next generation of fighters that see how Ilia Topuria is acting, and they think to themselves, you know what? I want to fight. I want to win a belt, right? Against a guy coming off a loss. I want to win a belt against a guy coming off a knockout. I want to win a belt or defend a belt against a guy who's weight drained, and then just move up for a belt. What happens then? You can't tell fighters like that no. If you let this slide, you can't tell them no. This is what's gonna crash the UFC. I'm telling you, because you have to fight. You have to fight to get a second title and a third title. He has not done that. He has no defenses. All he's done is gotten great matchups and just moved up the ranks. This is ridiculous. It's honestly sickening, bro, to see how much fighters have to claw tooth and nail like Pantoja. To see how bad fighters have to tooth and claw for a second title. Like Marab, like Alex Pereira. Knocking out the entire division. 2 times over, Pereira did it against Yuri Prochazka, a former champion. And here comes Ilia Topuria, the midget man, just moving up after winning the title. Didn't even defend it. We're giving him a third belt. This is ridiculous, bro. It's disgraceful.
And so if that's not a part of the mix, if it's not Patty versus Ilia, scrap those plans. We got to move on.
Ilia Topuria is a disgrace. He is not a representation of a UFC champion, bro. Really think about this, bro. He wants to fight who he wants to fight. He doesn't want to fight who you guys, the fans, want to see him fight at all.
Of course, why not? But I'm not hearing that that's a part of the mix. And so if that's not a part of the mix, if it's not Patty versus Ilia, scrap those plans. We got to move on. It's got to be Arman versus Ilia. Like, because the next one is Sydney. And now we're talking about, and obviously it's not happening there. And now we're talking about March. Like, there's no way. Arman versus Ilia is the number one fight in the lightweight division. And dare I say, it's close. It's close to as big as Patty versus Ilia, given how popular Arman is getting in that part of the world. And
I honestly think it's more popular. Just based off what you just said, Ariel. The fact that recency bias. There is a thing called recency bias. The people do not want to see a guy fight for the title who hasn't fought in 7 months. I get it. He fought Michael Chandler. That's a great win. But so is Dan Hooker. So is Charles Dubronx Oliveira. The guy who beat Michael Chandler. What are we talking about? And he did it more recently, last weekend. So why are we sitting here still having this debate? Arman Tsarukyan is next. That's who we want to see Ilia Topuria fight next. If he's going to knock out anybody next, it has to be Arman Tsarukyan. There has to be a build-up here. It can't just be, I'm going to avoid him and duck him, Like he said, now before you know it, we're going to be in 2027 before we see that fight. This is ridiculous. Ilia Topuria, you have had 5-6 months off. It's time to get back in there and defend your belt. You're still talking about a third title. Meanwhile, Islam done moved on and defended his title 2 weeks ago. How soon do you think you're going to get that fight, bro? It's not going to be anytime soon, bro. It's not. It's just not, bro. This is ridiculous, bro. Now we're having the debate of who has earned the title, who deserves the title more. So if we're going based off resumes, bro, Paddy Pimblett fought Bobby Green, and then he fought Michael Chandler. Arman Tsarukyan just beat Dan Hooker, and before that he beat Charles Dubronx. It's not equivalent, bro. And on top of that, Charles Dubronx is literally the same guy that Ilia Topuria won the title from. Not won the title from, but, vacant title, and, Ilia Topuria beat him. But that's who we fought last. This is the fight to make. Based off MMA math, based off recency, based off of contention, based off the fact that he was the backup fighter for that exact fight, Ilia Topuria versus Charles Dubronx in June. Everything is already in place. Make the fight. What are we doing?
Just how good he looked in this fight. And so I say, if we're not doing it on January 24th, and it sounds at least as of now that we're not, scrap those plans. Ilia, Arman, Patty, Gaethje. What do you say?
Well, I'm with you on some of it, but why? Why is there an expiration date on Ilia Patty?
Because it was
just fought, no?
Yes, it was the plan. It was the right move when Arman just fought. It was the plan, the right move when Arman was out. When we didn't know how this fight was going to go.
Okay.
When there were a lot of questions about his health, could he make the weight? Is his back okay?
Bring them dumbbells out.
Now that he looked like that, we gotta move on. We have to do it. I'm sorry.
But couldn't Arman get the winner?
We not just watching content, man. We getting better at the same time.
Yeah, but then we're talking about Arman not fighting for like 10 months. If this fight isn't happening in January, and then let's say March at the earliest, right? Because it's not going to happen in Sydney. We suspect Volker will be on.
Give me 15. We need 15 each
arm.
arm.
Not fighting until like, I don't know, October? Or we're talking about another year out for Arman?
I understand that from the Arman Tsarukyan perspective, but if we're touching all the chess pieces, right? If we're accounting for every piece on the board, I think you only get one shot with Patty and Ilia. And you have to take it.
Patty beats Gaethje. That is not a risk. You're not putting him in there against Arman. Patty beats Gaethje for sure. You
For
don't think so?
sure?
I think look, obviously not for sure.
What's Paddy Pimblett's best win? Truly,
Mike Chandler.
Yeah.
I don't think there's a big drop off there. I don't. I really don't.
Respectfully, like Michael Chandler, Tony Ferguson, Bobby Green, those guys are not in their primes. Like,
who do you think wins, GC? Patty or Gaethje?
Yeah, Patty, but I'm not sold on it. I do agree with Rick that you kind of do only have the one shot at Patty versus Ilia. It's just like in the fight game, these plans that you lay out can so easily get
well, what the hell? Then what do we do with Arman?
He gets the winner.
What the hell? Then these guys not fighting for a year.
And at that point, that would mean one fight since UFC
Awful.
300.
Oh, it's awful.
Bro, there has to be some sort of order here, folks. There has to be some sort of order here. So what are we talking about then? What are we talking for? What are the people talking for? What are they talking for? If we're just gonna ignore Arman Tsarukyan fighting more recently, fighting better competition, then what's the point in rankings? What's the point in an order? I mean, come on, let's be real. You can't say that Paddy Pimblett has more clout. That can't be it. You can't say that he's more talented because Arman Tsarukyan is finishing better competition. He's beating up better competition. Like he just said, Bobby Green and freaking Tony Ferguson, bro. Come on, let's not do this, bro. Let's not do this, bro. It does not matter if you can only make Patty versus Ilia right now. Who cares? Patty doesn't deserve it. So what are we talking about? Now we've got, bro, as an MMA community, this is what's so toxic about this community, bro. We've taken this whole, we want to see this fight or we want to see this fight too far. There has to be a certain level of professionalism when it comes to making these fights, bro. And Arman Tsarukyan is the more rightful number one contender. He has more of a right to the title shot than Paddy Pimblett. I'm sorry, bro. I'm not convinced that Paddy Pimblett will do any better than Arman Tsarukyan. I'm really not. I am really not, bro. Especially not with the way that Paddy Pimblett lets Ilia Topuria push him all over the place, bro. Arman Tsarukyan would never go for that. And if the fight can be made after the Arman Tsarukyan fight, then make it. If it can't, then it can't. Let him go up to 170, find out how them big boys punch in, and he'll be back. They can make that fight, bro. That fight will still be on the table. Well, I don't know what they're talking about. That fight is not going anywhere. You think if Ilia Topuria beats Arman Tsarukyan, he's not going to double back and say, hey, if I could beat Arman Tsarukyan, why wouldn't he think that he could beat why wouldn't he think he could beat Paddy Pimblett if he beats Arman Tsarukyan? That makes no sense, bro. But if you reverse that order, do you think that if he fights Paddy Pimblett, that he's gonna then double back and fight Arman Tsarukyan? I highly doubt it, bro. That fight needs to be made next because that fight is not just there. It's not just available. That fight needs to be made now. We've been talking about the Ilia Topuria versus Paddy Pimblett matchup for years now. That fight will always be there.
Difference between Paddy,
Yes.
It would attract a much wider audience. It would attract more casuals, but man, from a meritocracy standpoint, it's Arman.
I literally just said, I don't really rate the wins that Paddy Pimblett has on his resume. I don't make any secret about it.
Rate this one? Is beating Hooker bigger than beating Chandler?
Honestly, they're probably at the same point in their career in the way that they both dominated each of them. I kind of rate them the same.
But beating Charles Oliveira, to me, matters more than any of those by a mile.
Beating Dan Hooker is a bigger deal than beating Chandler, bro. Come on.
I know.
If you ask me who I think is the best lightweight on the planet right now, it's Arman Tsarukyan. I think Arman Tsarukyan is the best lightweight on the planet.
Yes, sir.
And I thought that he was number 2 behind Islam. As soon as Islam left that division, I think he's the best lightweight on the planet. But if you're asking me to run the UFC's business, if Paddy Pimblett is there, he's now ranked number 5 in their rankings. I believe I saw graphics being made about.
What is that?
Dan Hooker moved down. You got to move Paddy up.
You take this shot while you have it. Take this shot while you have it.
Paddy Pimblett is the Kike Hernandez of the UFC lightweight division.
Easy,
on the group project. Well, how do you go up 7 months after your last fight?
Dan Hooker lost. So you got to move him. I actually think he was at 8?
Also, don't the
Or
rankings usually
7
come out
after Chandler?
on Tuesday? Why did they come out on Monday?
I feel like they've been coming out on Mondays.
Oh, and also Hooker losing to Arman shouldn't necessarily drop you down. Like that's the number one guy. You shouldn't get penalized for losing to the top guy.
Patty's number 5. We don't need to think about it.
It was the way that he lost.
Sure.
I'm with you on everything about Arman. Every single bit of it. As I said, I think he's the best lightweight on the planet right now. I think he could beat Ilia Topuria. I think he probably will beat Ilia Topuria if they face off. I believe in Arman Tsarukyan to a high degree.
And this is the part that really just frustrates me. What he just said. So you think Arman Tsarukyan could beat Ilia Topuria in a fight, but you don't want to make that fight. You rather make that Paddy Pimblett, a guy that clearly stands to get knocked out. If he can't get a takedown on Ilia Topuria, he's gonna get knocked out. Let's be real. I'm pretty sure we all know, just based off the fact that Arman Tsarukyan comes from that freestyle wrestling background, his ability to scramble, his ability to work through wrestling positions, never settle for a bad position, gives him a way better shot of beating Ilia Topuria. Not just that, he's explosive, bro. He's got all the kicks in the book, the axe kicks and the spinning wheel kicks. Bro, they need to make that fight, bro.
But if you want to do the best business, you do Paddy versus Ilia while you have this opportunity right now, and then Arman fights the winner. And if it's Ilia, you've got that same fight that you were angling toward, and it's built-in business. And if it's Paddy, who then beat Ilia Topuria, now you've got Arman versus that guy, which is even bigger. It's perfect for me from a business perspective. I think you just do it while you have it.
Foaming at the mouth to see Arman versus Ilia. Foaming at the mouth.
You'll get it. 2 fights from now.
You know what pisses me off about all this? I want to see Ilia versus Arman so bad. I want to see Ilia versus Islam so bad, and I feel like we're not getting either of those next. What the hell? You know what I mean? Like the UFC has some blockbuster, juicy, like rivalries. There's heat there, and I feel like we're not getting either of them.
I'm surprised that you're so down on Paddy versus Ilia.
I was going to say both those fights.
They're not as.
Because it's not a compelling fight. We know who's gonna win. What are you talking about, bro? What are you saying, bro? Because we know who's gonna win. Nobody wants to see that fight anymore. Are these guys like not? What are you talking about? Did you not watch Arman Tsarukyan's last fight? Did you not watch him versus Charles DuBronx? Nobody wants to see Ilia Topuria fight Paddy Pimblett. We want to see the press conference for that fight. We want to see the face-off for that fight. But the fight itself is dead, bro. Paddy's getting knocked out. What are you talking about, bro?
Has Ilia Topuria in them, and then the third one also has Ilia Topuria in it against Paddy Pimblett, which might be his biggest rival, dating back to 2021 with the hand sanitizer boy days.
No, 100%. Listen, I've been the one carrying the Paddy versus Ilia flag for all this time, and it's a tough day for the people who say that I only pick based on my relationships. No one's probably been meaner to me than Paddy, but like we got to call it like we see it. That said, Arman fought, and maybe it's recency bias. I feel like you got to strike, because if they
yes,
are
you do.
January 24th, then I'm all the way down. Let's go. Let's do it. Announce it today. What are we waiting for? If it ain't happening, then we need to book Arman versus Ilia, in my opinion.
Yes, we do. 100%. Ariel said it best. We need to see Arman Tsarukyan versus Ilia Topuria. Midget man, Ilia Topuria, stop ducking. Stop ducking, gang. Stop ducking. Nobody wants to see you versus Paddy. We all know what's going to happen in that fight. You know what's going to happen in that fight. And what are you going to do? You're going to turn around. Keep ducking Arman Tsarukyan and move up to welterweight. Nobody wants to see that fight, bro. Man, that is it for this video, guys. If you guys feel like Arman Tsarukyan deserves the title shot next, leave a comment below. If you guys feel like Paddy Pimblett deserves the title shot next, leave a comment below. As I said before, I think just based off of what I mentioned in my last video, if you haven't seen that video, go check it out. And the evidence I'm bringing forth to you in this video, dude, it is my complete understanding that Ilia Topuria is avoiding and ducking Arman Tsarukyan. If you feel the same way, leave another comment down below. Man, that's it for me, y'all. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. And as always, stay positive, stay motivated, stay inspired, baby. Ooh. Bah.